Morning YouTube, and welcome to the Isle of Man TT Grandstand up at Douglas. Please join me on a reference lap of the TT course. This is not a speed lap, this is a slow, normal, all speed limits adhered to lap of the course. There's a number of reasons for this. Number one, if you're a rider, it's 30 days to TT or 35 days. So if you're a rider, I want to give you an idea of what the course looks like before you come over to the island. Or if you've never ridden here, I want to show you what the course looks like. But of course, if you're a spectator and you're planning on visiting us for TT, then I also want to show you what the TT course looks like just ahead of TT 2025. So maybe you can get a general idea of the place if you've never been. Or if you've been before, you can check your favorite viewing spots if they're still there. Of course, things here change. Not a lot, but they do change. So yeah, I just want to show you what the TT course looks like, and this year we're going to do it in 360 with an Insta 360 stacked up there on top of me. It's 6:30 in the morning on Easter Sunday, so, and there's already bikers here. How awesome. So there's the start line, and it seems we are being sent off by a group of bikers. Very nice. Let's go for a lap of the TT course. Let them go first. I'm going to try and make chapters of this, so if you don't have to listen or watch the whole thing. Just waiting for that traffic to pass. And I will also give you a sort of running commentary of the course and any bits, so the place names and anything I come across. If you don't want to hear me waffle, just switch the volume off and stick some music over it. Okay, let's go. So here it is, the TT start line. Glencrutchery Road, beautiful TT grandstand on the left there. In the morning sun, my most famous picture I took here, the grandstand at dawn. That was taken at 4:30 AM, so we do get sunrises here very early. If you're over for TT, it's worth getting up early just for the sunrises and for, you know, the nice and peaceful place. Going down Glencrutchery Road towards St. Ninians Crossroads. St. Ninians Crossroads. On the left here is a very nice place to watch. Also the ladies from the church there, they always offer cake and tea and coffee. I don't know why we put on traffic lights at night, you know. It's not like there's any traffic here. Okay, so it looks like those bikes are also going on the lap of the course. So here's St. Ninians Crossroads. You can watch from the school on the left, you can watch from the petrol station. They're going to put the bridge back in shortly, so you can cross the course. Of course, never cross the course on the road itself when the roads are closed. It's a criminal offense. Bray Hill, famous, on the left here. You can stand. They're going to put in a new TT fan zone in this field here. Mixed feelings on that. It's Duke travel, so they're good guys. But it's getting too organized, the TT. I don't know, I'm not a fan of it. But, you know, maybe if the view is nice and you maybe get a coffee there, why not? Okay, bottom of Bray Hill, spectacular point to watch. Always popular. You're going to sit on the left here. Be early. It is a very, very popular spot. Also, you can stand in the road here. Fewer people go there on the left to see where they come down Bray Hill. Then we go over Argo's Leap, There's nowhere really to stand here unless you know the people in the houses. Argos Leap is actually filmed, if you see the famous wheelie shot, the front wheelie shot, it's actually filmed from here, on the left here. This is the ledge where we were usually standing when I was working on filming the TT with North One years ago. And I think Green, what's their name, they also put their camera there. Going down towards Quarter Bridge. Again, can't really watch here unless you are in someone's garden or house. Please do never ever step on closed roads, not even on the pavement or sidewalk if you're from across the pond, because it is a criminal offense. You will get arrested, you will stop racing, not good. Quarter Bridge, you will be able to stand on the left here and on this knoll here on the side, and of course at the old pub itself. The pub is closed, has been closed for years, which is a real shame. Used to be a beautiful place to watch and have a pint. But great space to watch. Again, gets busy, be early. Then the short straight down towards Braddan Bridge. Again, this is just a slow lap of the course. To show you everything. On the left here behind the wall is of course the access road. The only road that crosses the TT course, or that gets you in and out of the TT course when the roads are closed. It is not open during normal hours, just during TT racing. Braddan Bridge, on the right is the Joey Dunlop facility where you can stay. This is also a beautiful spot to watch on the left there by the church. They do charge like a £5 or something entry. It's well worth it. It's a beautiful, beautiful spot. They're going to put benches there again. Slowly everything's getting ready for TT. From Braddan Bridge we're heading down to Union Mills. It's still freezing, but I've got the spoiler up and I've got my heated seats and air scarf on. So it looks warm, it's not. Okay, we're heading down towards Union Mills. Not that many spots to watch here if you're not in someone's garden. There is quite a few spots down here when we come through the corners on the right. If you remember a few years ago, there was the crash here when the roads were wet. I think Armour crashed here. We actually filmed that particular crash. And we were standing behind the straw bale on the right there. So you can watch down here in the church garden. I think they always open it. Again, try and be early, these are very popular spots. And then you're already heading out of Douglas. And towards, well, we're heading towards Peel, we're of course not going to Peel. There's the magic sign, no speed limits. Now, on the subject of speed limits during TT, when you come over to visit, you will know we don't have national speed limit, that is correct. However, during TT, they are putting in a ton of temporary limits. You may find them a little bit annoying, because roads that are usually have no speed limit will suddenly have speed limits. But they are for safety, and it's a balance between letting you have a go and go wild, and keeping everyone safe, because the island doesn't stop during TT. People still go to work, you know, kids have to be dropped off at school, granny needs to go to Tesco. And if you bomb along there at 150, then that can be an issue. So if you see speed limits during TT, stick to them, because the cops will be out in force. They are not mean cops, they're not UK cops who get, you know, a stiffy in enforcing any speed limit breaches 5 miles over. Our cops here are super fair, but if you see speed limits, stick to them religiously, please. So we have at the famous Ballagarey, better known as Ballagarey. You see the signs, of course, on the side of the road that tell you the corners, and you also see the mile markers. Again, you can watch here if you know someone, if you're, you know, in someone's garden. But yes, so also on speed limits, by the way, during TT, you will see loads and loads of temporary speed limits, even on roads where there normally aren't any. They've already started putting the signs up. The only road that's really not limited is the mountain. The mountain will be one way again. This wasn't always the case. It was sometimes two-way in the past, which is crazy when you think about it. It will be one way. It has no speed limit, so you know you can have your blast over the mountain. But also, right within your means, the mountain road is one of the most dangerous roads in the world because it has no speed limit and it is pretty narrow, and if you get it wrong, you can't see it from the road, but trust me, it's downhill from the side, and like a lot. And you will get a ticket if you stack it, of course. So we give you all the freedom to have fun, but if you stack it because of stupidity, then, or because you ran out of talent, then you're still gonna get a ticket. You know, it's sort of, we put the responsibility on you. But you can still come here and enjoy yourself. Whereby TT has, I think sanitized is the wrong word, but it has changed. It has changed a lot. Oh, by the way, we're in Crosby now. The Crosby pub is very, very famous viewing spot. Coming up on the right up there. My wife actually used to work there for a while as a chef. She's a chef. I'm not going to tell you what she thought of it. Nah, it's an okay place. So Crosby, we have a new co-op on the left if you need a coffee and some cheap snacks or beer or whatever. But again, you cannot cross the road once it's closed for racing. So Crosby pub on the right, great place to watch, but the place where you really want to be is up here. Wagon and Horses Jump, 5th milestone. Again, you need to be pretty early because the road's going to be closed. You can park on the left, there's a sign even parking for free. You can park in the field here. And this is the jump. So you see the 5th mile marker, and just after this here is the jump. And when I say jump, I mean the bikes come through here flat out and they really jump, you know, 10, 20, 30 meters. It's a pretty spectacular spot if you're in the field left and right to it. It is, what time is it now? 6:40 in the morning. Easter Sunday, so you can see the Isle of Man is pretty tranquil. Especially on a day like this, which is why I'm doing it today. We're coming to Greeba Castle. That was for sale. It tends to come up for sale once in a while. It's for sale recently. It's a beautiful building. I'd love to own that. So this is the left right-hander for Greeba Castle. If you now think that the whole Isle of Man roads are as smooth and lovely and shiny as the TT course, then don't be fooled. 90% of our roads budget goes into the TT course. Hello, hello. Sunday morning. We might see a few more sports cars out, because it is a lovely Sunday morning and people here like their cars. Okay. See, there's preparation work going on for TT. So these guys are out, they're putting all barriers and airbags up. It's 30, I think today it's like 36, 35 days to TT. So we're slowly getting ready. There's a pub on the left here somewhere. I think it's a bit further down after the corner here, which is a nice place to watch. The other thing I would say is if you are coming to watch the TT, take your time. You know the Isle of Man, our motto is Très d'heure, which means time enough. Leave enough time to get to your viewing spot. A lot of the delays happens, so there's the pub here on the left. This is a nice viewing spot. You have a nice straight here where they come blasting through. Very recommended. But yeah, leave enough time when you go to your viewing spot. Coming for Harold's here, that's the name of the corner. So leave enough time, because a lot of the time we get incidents and accidents when people try and rush to their viewing spot last minute. And then if there's an accident on the course, if you crash while you're on the course, which is a public road of course, we're through Gorse Lea now, then you delay racing. And plus of course you hurt yourself. So, you know, not good. So leave enough time. It's, you know, 2 weeks of racing here. There's enough racing for you to see. And I would recommend that you do the 2 weeks, by the way. If you want a slightly quieter and cheaper time, you do practice week. If you want the full-on action, you do race week, which culminates in senior race day, which is actually a holiday here. So yep, the Isle of Man makes racing reason to have a public holiday. How can you not like this place? Welcome to Ballagarey, the famous Ballagarey. Right hand, if you keep going straight, you're going to Peel. We're not going to Peel, we are going towards Kirk Michael. And you can tell I'm driving quite slow, which is deliberate, because I want you to see the course and be able to, you know, see your viewing spots and whatnot. Or if you're a rider, I want you to just be able to see the condition of the course. Okay, this is the section towards Glen Helen, which is famously bumpy. Only doing around 40 around here. Laurel Bank, also a very famous spot. So when you hear these spots mentioned on, you know, the radio and the media, then you know where it is. Are those the first TT campers already? See the tents on the right there. Said to be very technical around here on the bike, very bumpy. It already feels bumpy in the car. We're coming past Blackdup now, which I think is also another spot that Duke Travel is doing. I'm not getting paid by Duke Travel, by the way. I do know Peter and I, you know, work with him here and there. I'm not getting paid by them. If I point them out, then, you know, it's just, if you want to buy a ticket and sit there, it's totally up to you. But at least they're trying to, you know, offer something. So the famous Blackdup on the right, you can already see the grandstand seating. And they're going to put, you know, your tea, coffee, beers and food there. So if you want to, you know, have a bit more comfort while you watch the TT, then that's for you. If you want to sit on a hedge, then that's more like me. But I can tell you that the TT visitor has changed, the audience has changed, certainly since the new media deal. Okay, we're going towards Glen Helen. And then going up the hill. Glen Helen, also a nice place to watch, but you don't see that much, but you see him go up the hill, which is quite nice. And if the pub's open, then, you know, obviously you can hang out there all day and enjoy the racing. So on the right here is Glen Helen, and then here's, you go up the hill here. Past Sarah's Cottage. towards Cronk Y Voddy. So yeah, the audience has absolutely changed in recent years. It's not so many, I mean, we still get thousands of bikers coming over, but we also get an older audience and a lot more Americans. I think that's because the new media deal they have for a few years now, it's actually on TV over in America land, is that correct? Maybe someone who watches this can tell me. Because I'm meeting a lot more Americans, and obviously, you know, it's a lot more not traditional biker folk. And maybe they want something more comfortable and VIP-ish. For me, TT has nothing to do with VIP. TT is sitting on a hedge. Now here you see the no speed limit sign, that will be gone when TT comes. They're going to put a contemporary limit here, so be aware of that. But yeah, we're coming towards Cronk Y Voddy. Cronk Y Voddy Straight. I'd love to open up. Mind you, this thing doesn't have power anyway. Well, we'll enjoy the sunrise anyway. It's only a 2 litre, this one. So opening up means still it's a head right? But it's a beautiful, beautiful morning. Completely on our own, it seems, on the TT course. You know, if you want to do, so we're 11 miles in, see the mile markers everywhere. Obviously it's 37 3/4 miles around. So we're not even a third through the course. But if you're here to visit on your bike, or even if you're in a car really, and you want to do your lap of the course, obviously the morning is always nicest. Because it's quiet. Or quieter, nothing is quiet during TT. We get about 40,000 visitors on an island that only has 85,000 inhabitants, so you know, you can imagine the scale of the fan invasion. But yeah, if you want to do your lap, you know, morning is usually best. Really early morning, like go out at 5:30, 6 latest. Handley's Corner coming up. It's the famous stone wall on the right, which apparently is very intimidating if you're on a bike. I imagine so. It doesn't look very soft. Named after Walter Handley. I think his name was Walter, right? So a lot of these corners, they are of course named after riders. You don't have to be dead to have a corner named after you. For example, we're going to come past McGuinness's in a minute, and he is obviously still very much alive and riding. You just have to be famous enough in TT terms to be, here it is, McGuinness's, lovely quick little left-hander. So you just have to be famous enough, but you certainly don't have to be dead. The camera is up on the big Insta360 stick. On the subject of which, if you have selfie sticks, please do not use them. In fact, they're actually banned at the track side when you watch the racing. For pretty obvious reasons, shouldn't have to explain this one. Because if you hang, so this is top of Ballagarey, by the way, and then we're coming to the bottom of Ballagarey, which is a very famous lap corner. I'm sure many of you have seen on YouTube. It's down there. If you want to watch bottom of Ballagarey, it's very, very spectacular and worth it. You're standing on the right down here in the corner. You have to be there early. It's one of the top spots to watch, and there isn't much space, as you can see on the right here. You'll be standing behind the fence here somewhere. And this is the dip, and then bam, you know, you bottom out and go through here. It's a spectacular corner, but be very early. There's not much space. So yeah, no selfie sticks please when you're watching at the track. Because, you know, if you hold your phone over the side, the riders do come very, very close. This is not MotoGP, this is not kindergarten. This is real racing. They come very, very close to you. With that I mean inches. And some spots is literally inches. And if you hold your phone or your camera over the side on a selfie stick and a rider gets that in the face, it's not going to be pretty. So please do not use selfie sticks at the side of the track when you are watching. Also, of course, the course is a strict no drone zone during racing. So check the times. There are certain times. There's an you can check the local Civil Aviation Authority advisory. There should be a drone advisory or a NOTAM or something out that stipulates the no drone zone times. It only applies during racing during certain times, so do check. Outside of racing, if it's a non-race day and you want to, you know, take some pictures of the course from above, you're absolutely welcome to. But during racing, the whole course, and I think it's a mile or 1,000 meters or something, please do check. Away from the course is a no drone zone. Very obvious reasons. Number one, if your drone crashes down on the track, not good. Number two, we have rescue helicopters that need to fly, and if you are there with your drone, then they cannot fly. So no drone zone during racing. Welcome to Kirk Michael. If you watch the onboards, this is one of the most nuts parts of the TT course. Gonna go nice and slow, of course. It is a 30 mile an hour, so if you are, you know, riding through here, honestly, the cops over here, they're not mean. They're not like UK cops who, you know, appear to be getting a hard on every time they can nail a speeder or something. We have a very different attitude towards speed and driving and motoring, as I'm sure you know. But if you are, for example, in town, drive within the speed limit. Because they will be checking. And as I said, you know, the island does not stop because of TT. People still go to work, you know, still cross the road in front of you. Life goes on. Oh, by the way, on the right here, it's a great spot to watch. It's been sold recently. Let's see if the new owner keeps it open. But the old owner always allowed people to sit in the garden in exchange for, I think he didn't even charge, he just wanted a donation for whatever charity they support. Some of you will know there used to be a bike museum here. Unfortunately, the gentleman died, and I don't think that's there anymore. So we are out of Kirk Michael towards Rencullen. Very spectacular spot that you know from when you watch it on TV. It's where they wheelie over the hill and jump over that hill. There's also that famous picture somewhere of a woman watering her plants while the bike flies by inches away. That's typically Isle of Man. That actually happens. That's not staged. I'll see if I find it and I'll stick it in the comments, the link to the picture. Because that house on the right here, the yellow one. This is the Rencullen jump. Very, very spectacular spot. Not actually sure you can spectate here. It's private property, so you'd have to check with whoever is here. You cannot stand on the sidewalk, okay? But you will get the shot on TV, of course. There's always TV cameras there. Now you're gonna have a lovely white van in the back of the shot. Bishop's Court, we're going past. Oh, one question a lot of people is asked, you know, when you drive on the Isle of Man, how do you know you're on a TT course? It's pretty simple. Every time you see the painted curbs, you are on the TT course. Except when you're down in Ballahutchin, where there's the Southern 100 course. So if you're near the airport and you see painted curbs, that's the Southern 100 course. But if you're anywhere else on the island and you see painted curbs, it means you are on the TT course. And these curbs, they get freshly painted. They're going around now. Again, we do that just before TT to make it all look nice. Right, coming through Alpine? Are we for Alpine? No, I'm confused now. Quarry Bends. It's a really nice shot. I took some really nice pictures here years ago. Especially in the morning, the light is gorgeous. And now we're coming to Ballaugh and Ballaugh Bridge, the very famous jump over Ballaugh Bridge. Great place to watch. If you want to watch, the best place is on the left. I'll show you in a sec when we go over the bridge. Okay, a little bit too quick here, going down to 30. So Ballaugh Bridge, very, very famous at the Raven. So obviously you can sit at the Raven and watch, or you can be on the left here. It does get busy. You can do what the locals are doing, and you get a ladder and you turn up last minute. So do what I do with my famous ladder, and you know, stand behind the crowd and watch from there. That's what all the locals do here. You will see a lot of locals in Ballaugh with their ladders out. I might bring my ladder as well. I'm just gonna avoid the morons from G4S up at the grandstand. I wonder if they're still here. I think one of the guys at least is still here. I've seen him already. Okay, we are out of Ballaugh, heading towards Sulby. Milestone, so we're roughly about halfway in. Imagine you're a rider and you have to remember every single corner here. I still don't know how to do it. Now we're at Quarry Bends. Sorry, I got confused. The other one wasn't Quarry Bends. Now we're at proper Quarry Bends. Wildlife Park on the left. You do know, of course, that the Isle of Man is home to a wild wallaby population. They did escape from that wildlife park once, and they got busy in the bushes. And now we have, I think it's hundreds of wallabies. So if you ride around here, especially at night, be aware you might be meeting a wallaby in the middle of the road. There's plenty of pictures of people, you know, spotting them sitting in the middle of the road like it's their place. So be aware you may be, you know, encountering wild wallabies. People are not taking the mickey if they tell you we have none. That's true. We also have ferries, but that's a different thing. Welcome to Sulby and to Sulby Straight. The place to watch in Sulby is, of course, the Sulby Hotel on the left here. I'll drive nice and slow. This is a fantastic spot. Be early, you can stand right by the road on the left here. Also on the right, if you go up there, that's a shortcut to the bungalow. So what you can do is, if you're on the inside, you'll be stuck on the inside, but you can be up at the bungalow. I'll show you the road then from the bungalow in a minute when we're up there. And you can ride down to here. So you get two viewing spots. Say it's between races, you watch race 1 up at the bungalow. Works best if you're on a motorbike, because it does get busy with parking for cars. And then you ride down here and watch it on Sulby Straight for, say, the second race or something. So this is Sulby Straight. I am, of course, a little bit slower than your average race bike through here. This is a favorite spot for the cops and their speed camera, Sulby Bridge. So if you see a 30 sign there, it's 40 further down and then it goes down to 30. Do not miss that sign. They love standing down here at the bridge. And it is a 30 residential area, so, you know, you should be doing 30. Sulby Bridge. Nice place to watch. Actually, the nice place is just after Sulby Bridge on the right, Ginger Hall, famous pub. Used to make a mean Thai curry there. Don't know if it's still the same landlord, but it's really good. Famously, a few years ago, Subaru was the sponsor of the TT, and they did a media drive of a convoy of Subarus, WXs, Scoobies. And one of the American reporters, I think, who got to drive one, stuck it into the bridge in front of all the spectators. The only thing that was harmed was his pride, but that was annihilated because hundreds of people were cheering him for crashing. Not good for him. There's this YouTube clip of it somewhere. Ginger Hall on the right. Really nice spot to watch. Again, does get busy, so be early. There's a back road as well, so you can move around. That's the other thing that you know from my other videos. Advanced spectating is very much a thing at the TT, because the course is 37 miles and it does take all the bikes to pass. So the top 10 will be past you within 5 minutes tops, because they start in, you know, a few seconds from each other. It's a 10 or 30 seconds. Even if you watch the whole field, it's about 10 minutes and they're all through. That leaves you 5, 6, 7 minutes at least until the top guys come through. So the top times are what, 17, 18 minutes for a lap. So you have time to move between positions, especially if you're only after watching the top 10, then you have at least 10 minutes to change your position, and that is enough to go, you know, to a different spot sometimes. It's easiest probably in Douglas, where I showed you that before in my past videos. You can walk from the grandstand to St. Ninians down to Bray Hill. You can do all that in one race, and you see the same race in 3 different spots. Right, we're heading towards Ramsey. Rooms are in Manx. If you look on fire trucks, for example, you'll notice that on one side it has the English, and on the other side it has the Manx name for fire truck or fire service. So Manx is still a thing. It's Manx Gaelic, it's the local language. They're trying to revive it. They're quite good at it, actually. Used to be a couple of dozen speakers left, and now I think it's a few thousand. God, it is so quiet, isn't it? Glencrutchery. That's the kind of house on the right that I would like. It's a bit out of my budget. Okay, we're coming to a spot called K3. See if you can guess why it's called K3. Actually, I think it's still a bit further down. I'm getting confused. There you go, 20-second milestone. K3 is coming up. Why is it called K3? Pretty simple. It's a tree and it has a K on it. There it is. Nice little left-hander. God, the morning light's glorious. If you want to see the racing but you don't like the busy TT, come over for the Manx Grand Prix in August. It's much quieter, much quieter, and you get a lot more classic bikes if that's more what you're into. TT is the big one everyone wants to see, but Manx Grand Prix is still very, very nice. Okay, we're nearing Ramsey. I might stop in Ramsey quickly to check on the cameras. Town. This used to be a camera position for us when I was with North 1 on the left here. I think it was here or the next one. No, I think it was here. Yeah, this was our camera position on the left here. We're standing on the track. It was completely mental. That's an official, was an official camera position. It was sanctioned and signed off by everyone, but it was a bit mental. Our second camera position was Parliament Square. And this was one of the ones, by the way, that where we changed position between the laps. There's a back road here, so you can go from Parliament Square to Milltown. And we had a third position somewhere where we actually had to walk through a stream and stuff. It was fun. So, welcome to Royal Ramsey, as they like to call it in the north. Funny people in the north. Hope Derek doesn't hear that. I'm in trouble. He's the town clerk here. He's a friend of mine. I'm gonna get banned if I insult his city. Town, it's a town. Only Douglas is a city. I should know, I was there as a councillor when they made it a city. Anyway, welcome to Ramsey and Parliament Square, one of the best spots to watch. Again, be early if you want to see them. So there's obviously two angles. It's a 90-degree corner. Nice and slow. The good angle is straight on. So if you're behind those blue barriers, be early because it's popular. Or bring a ladder and stand behind them. And you can see them coming towards you and brake and wobble. It's really great. I think both pubs left and right will be open again. And of course you can stand all around the Parliament Square, which is this place here, and then you turn right. And we're heading towards the mountain. Just gonna see if I can have a quick stop here somewhere to check on the cameras. May Hill is also very nice. Ramsey has quite a few spots where you can walk between laps, so you could walk from May Hill to Parliament Square. It's very compact if you want to watch different spots. May Hill is a great spot. On the left here you'll be able to stand. And I'm just going to pull over here for a sec and check on my cameras. Camera's still recording, plenty of battery left. You never know, one lap in a slow pace. The bikes do it in 17 minutes. I do it in, well, over an hour because I'm driving slow and sticking to speed limits. So, okay, let's head to the mountain. So May Hill, really nice spot to watch on the left there. Wow, suicidal pigeons. The mountain is one way during TT, but you will find it closed quite a few times when people crash, and then you're going to be stuck down here. This is where the road closure is normally, so around here and the left of the road you're going to see loads of bikers waiting for the mountain to open. Now when you go over the mountain, there's one spot here where they give more tickets than anywhere else. I think it's a bit of a, how am I going to put this politely? It's not a nice spot for them to stand because it's pointless. But you know, it's their prerogative where they stand with the laser guns. So you come up here, it's 30, and they will be standing up here. They always stand up at the hairpin with their laser guns. They'll be very visible, so if they catch you, you know, it's really your fault. They're not hiding, they're very, very visible. They're always cop cars here, this is their base. And if you drive more than 30 going up here, then you get a ticket before you go over the mountain. Many, many, many tickets being given here on this corner. So anyway, welcome to the mountain. This magic sign, actually there are some temporary limits and then they unlimited because they put cones here when they make it one way. So normally you see the temporary limits here under the things. They're going to unwrap them soon. Normally, well now it's already unlimited, but there will be cones here and the cones end just after Waterworks, which is where we're now. And then from there it's, you know, put your foot down if you want. And if the conditions allow, of course. Again, you have the freedom here to drive fast and no speed limit and all that, but if you drive like an idiot, they're still going to have you, and rightly so. You have to use that freedom responsibly. And this road will bite. Okay, up on the mountain we go. I might drive a little faster here because it's fun. It's very hard not to drive fast up here. Not that it makes a difference, but I'll stick her into sport and see what happens. One of the best spots where you can watch is of course the gooseneck. It's absolutely gorgeous up here. Again, be early. It's very, very popular. And there's a back road to it. from on the coast road to Ramsey, you're going to find a little back road going up here. It's always busy. They always let you park in a field here for like a $5 or something. But be aware, if it's been raining and it's muddy, then it can be a bit... the field is on a slope, so it can be a bit messy. So careful when it was raining. Anyway, welcome on the mountain. I don't think I've ever driven so slow here. It hurts to drive so slow here. It's physically uncomfortable. Alright, passing through Joey's. Okay, I'm going to go back in comfort mode and drive slow. So I want to show you the course. If you want to drive fast, you can do that yourself. Like him. I'm being overtaken by a Mondeo. This is actually humiliating. So this road during TT will be one way. However, the normal rules still apply, I've been told. So if you see, for example, you know, any signs at the side that are still valid, then one way or not, you're still supposed to stick to them. Coming up to Guthries Memorial. God, it is cold with the roof down. This is Guthries Memorial. If you do watch from the mountain, which I recommend you do at least once, you'll be stuck up here pretty much all day, but it is absolutely gorgeous if the weather's fine. Your best spot is probably the bungalow. You have, you know, the Victory Cafe there and a nice base to explore from. You can also go up Snaefell Mountain and watch them from a distance and see them from up there. It's a very different experience. And welcome to the Mountain Mile, which is the fastest bit really on the whole island. Ever since Ballamoda and those areas were put a limit on. The bikes will go flat out here. Of course, so can you if the conditions allow. But even though they call it a straight, as you can see, it's not exactly straight. But yeah, you can open up here. In a good car, you can do your, you know, 150 if you want. But you'll only do it for a few seconds because it's a very short road. But yeah, especially when it's one way, you can, you know, really open up the Mountain Mile. When you see that sign, you can open up. God, it is freezing. 28 miles in. I'm barely doing 50 on the Mountain Mile. I am an obstacle, but there's no traffic, so it's fine. Watching from the mountain is great, but you will pretty much be stuck up here. And the mountain closes earlier than the rest of the course, be aware of that. It usually closes like an hour or so earlier. Because they have to put the cones in, they have to get the marshals up here, and so on. So, you know. Welcome to Mountain Box. You can see it's always windy up here, always plenty of sheep too. Oh, by the way, if you go to side roads and everything, for example, the one at the bungalow I'll show you in a minute. Yeah, be aware there are sheep running around here. So, you know, you may come around the corner when there's something fluffy in the middle of the road. So, you know, just be aware that we have, next to wallabies, we also have thousands of sheep. Oh, Jesus, it's cold. Coming past Black Hut on the way to the veranda. This corner can bite, there's loads of crashes here, so be aware of that. All corners on this course can bite. Don't underestimate this road. It looks harmless, it's not. This is the veranda where very famously Connor Cummins crashed a few years ago. You see that famous clip of him tumbling down the mountain. He's okay now, but it looks scary when you see it. So this is the veranda, this is where it happened. He went over the side here, in this corner. You can stop here, there's a little parking thing here, it's not much to see. Nice view of the valley. You come onto this little straight that leads us towards the bungalow, 30 miles in. I am freezing. Like seriously freezing. You're gonna see cones here during TT when it's open. They slow traffic down for the bungalow because people go in and out. It's super popular, the cafe. Of course the Joey statue is here. And the... who was it, that rabbit? And the... oh yeah, rabbits are another problem here. You get loads of rabbits. The electric tram that goes up Snaefell, of course, crosses the track. So that's why you're gonna see cones here during TT. And, you know, slow down. There's always cops down here as well. There's the TT course contractors out again, putting the barriers and everything out. On the right here is Victory Cafe and the bungalow. Great place to watch. And of course you can walk and go over the bridge and up the mountain. So if you want to spend a day on the mountain, this is a great base. Again, be early. Parking, everyone parks. This is the road down to Sulby on the right here. And everyone parks there wildly. I want to indicate to him that he should overtake me. Oh, it's a rental car, okay. This is going up Halewood Heights from the bungalow. This is the highest part of the course up here, where we are now. And it's all downhill from here. This is Brandywell. Here's Halewood's Height. This is the highest part of the course. And then, of course, you know, if you want to go up Snaefell Mountain, just behind the bungalow, it takes you about half an hour to walk up. If the weather is nice, bring good shoes. It can be muddy up there. Or you just take the tram. But be aware that the tram starts in Laxey down in the valley. By the time it gets up here, it may already be full with people. So sometimes there's no space at this stop to go up to the summit. But if you can have a chance, it's really nice. On a sunny day, go up to the summit. It's always windy, so bring good clothing, even in summer. But it's a great view over the mountain. And I have watched from up top of Snaefell one year the TT. And it's pretty spectacular because you're looking down and you can hear them like in the distance, and you can see the bikes really, the scale of the track. There's no other racetrack in the world like this, where 37 3/4 miles, you know, 50 kilometers is one lap. It's crazy. But yeah, do watch from the mountain at least once. And if you want to make the bungalow your base, that's a good idea. Be early, park on the road down there. Not so much issue if you're on a bike, but if you're in a car, there's limited parking, or you have to walk quite far because people park all the way down the road to the reservoir. So we're at Windy Corner. No prizes for guessing why it's called that. There's a back road here. Well, I'm not sure if you can stand behind a wall or if that's a restricted area. There's loads more restricted areas these days. Never used to be this many. But then 2007, I think, was one of the key years. There was a really bad incident. The government at the time got their backside handed to them in court. They basically screwed up. And yeah, there were all sorts of things going on. And then as a knee-jerk reaction, you see a lot more restricted and forbidden areas. If you do see these areas where it says restricted, no access, do not enter. It's an offense. You're gonna get arrested. And you may stop racing because if you are in a spot where it's not allowed and you're in the firing line of the bike, so to say, they may have to stop racing. Also, we have 900 marshals all across the course. They're all volunteers. Please be polite to them. Please listen to them when they give you instructions. They are there to enable racing to take part and to keep everyone safe. You, themselves, and the riders. So if they give you instructions, listen to them. If you don't, you may see police officers turning up real quick. Keppel Gate, great spot to watch on the right there. Oh, by the way, you're going to see some areas. So there's different. There's restricted and there's completely forbidden areas. Official photographers and media who are identifiable on their little media bib, they wear a vest. Some of them have permission to go into some restricted areas. It's part of the conditions. Only that you see a photographer or videographer somewhere does not mean you necessarily are allowed to go there if it says restricted. Kate's Cottage, very famous building. It's actually a private building, someone lives there. 34 miles in, go around the corner, Douglas opens up and there it is, the Creg Ny Baa. Probably the most famous viewing spot. If you want to do a Creg Ny Baa VIP day, yada yada, it's really expensive. It's a nice view, you get up on the balcony and whatnot. It's not my thing. I know some people like it, but it's certainly not my thing. So, car behind us, I'm gonna be nice and slow. There'll be a barrier here during TT, because this is where the one-way ends. During the races, Creg Ny Baa is a great viewing spot. Again, be early and they will charge you to sit on these things. But you can still sit on the hedge on the left here most of the time. I'll let him overtake. You see the signs here, they're still covered. Oh, so polite. Thank you for saying thanks. There will be temporary speed limits here. There is none now. During the year, it's all speed limit free up until the 40 sign at Douglas. Or Onken. Is it Onken or Douglas? Who cares? Everything is Douglas. But during TT, because it's two-way traffic again here and everything, there are temporary speed limits here. Again, stick to them. The cops like to stand down here in the corner, and they certainly like to stand down in the other corner when you come into Douglas. So again, if you see speed limits, stick to them. Yes, it's frustrating sometimes, but you can still have your blast over the mountain. Which is, you know, 100% more freedom than you get anywhere else in Great Britain. Brandish, famous corner. Fun story, this corner used to be much tighter. And just before 2007 they widened it for road safety reasons. And strangely enough, in 2007 McGuinness did the 130 mile an hour lap. Those two things are definitely not related at all. The same with Windy Corner, they made it wider so he can get his record. So we're coming back into Douglas. Again, if you see the speed limits, there's a 40 and then a 30. The cops love to stand down here, and you know, it is a 40, you're going into a residential area in Hilberry. Stick to it. On the left here, Duke Travel again has a seating area, Hilberry. Very nice, because you can see down the straight and how they come in here. It's a beautiful corner. Then you will hear, or the old, more in the old videos and tracks, you will hear the lights on at Cronk Ny Baa. That's an indication. It used to be on the old scoreboards. There used to be a light, and if a rider hits a certain point called Cronk Ny Baa, which is here, this is this little junction here, which is not far from the grandstand, then it means the rider is, you know, about less than a minute away from, for example, the pits or the start line. So everyone knew the riders were about to come through. So if you hear he's at Cronk Ny Baa, that's here. That's the spot. And it used to be a light on the old scoreboard that used to come on when a rider passes here, so his pit team can get ready. Signpost Corner is a beautiful corner to watch. We are back in Douglas. On the left here, the people, they usually put out chairs and everything, and I think all they ask is a donation on the left here. you will usually find chairs. You used to be able to watch over there behind the wall until a rider crashed into that, and then they made it a restricted area. Boo. So usually every time something happens, they make it restricted, because we can't be trusted as spectators to do things, can we? You can still watch on the way down to the Nook here. So we're coming down towards Governor's Bridge, which is the shortest, slowest corner on the track. Now TT, they are turning right down here. This is the old road. It used to be the old main road. This road is actually new as in, I don't know, 15 years, 20 years. So during TT, they are going down here. In fact, I think we can go. There's no sign saying otherwise. This used to be the old main road. We used to drive here all the time. And then they built a new road on the left. So this is where the riders come through. It's open. There's no signs I can't go here, so I think we're fine. Well, there's a sign. That's useful at the end, isn't it? And then you go around Governor's Bridge. And then, so the riders wouldn't go around the roundabout. Obviously I have to, rules of the road. But they go around here. This is the slowest corner. Great place to watch Governor's Bridge. And then you go through the Nook. This is something you don't normally see. This is the actual Governor's Bridge. It's a tiny little bridge. This spot in front of me, some of you will know, they just finished the building work at the new care home there. So hopefully that will still be a viewing spot. Because this is great, the bikes come flying out here, often come close to the curb, and then we are back on the start and finish straight. They put a new fence here on the left. Of course you can't stand on the left here behind the fence. It's a great spot because especially on flying laps they're going past you full speed. And that's it, we are back at the grandstand. So that was your reference lap for 2025, just ahead of TT. If you watch from the grandstand on the right here behind the wall, it's great because you can see the start line and the build up. And of course on the grandstand itself if you want to. So, and here we are back on the start line. Let's go through the pit lane, shall we? There's a car that overtook us, tourist. And here we are, finishing this little reference lap at the pit lane and the podium, which is also already ready for TT. So that's it. Hope you found that useful. And yeah, if you didn't want my commentary, just switch the audio off and put some music on. But that's it. So we're all ready for TT 2025. That was your reference lap. Hope you saw your favorite spots to watch. And I will see you here during TT, I hope. Take care. Thank you very much. Goodbye.